And look at that. Does that work?
Is it working? Let's see.
I think
I've
so.
got
We'll
a thing that
see.
says stream starting soon.
It's on the starting soon screen.
It
Yes.
should update. It might be a little bit behind on the stream, but we should be linked up as far as what is actually broadcasting.
Okay.
So it
Oh,
might
yeah.
take a second.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
there we
really
go.
working. It is!
Okay.
Yay! Ty is amazing.
All right, this is what I threw together real quick. Not nearly as many bells and whistles, but it's working. That's the important thing.
That's good. And I guess now you have the mastery of the chat.
Yes.
So I guess we'll start. Should we just start this again and we'll just do introductions and pretend like that other stream didn't happen?
Yeah, let's just. The stream has always been on my channel. That was always the plan. I don't know where you guys were. I don't know why are you guys 27 minutes late for the stream. Where have you all been?
Thank you guys so much for your patience. I'm sorry that didn't work out the way that we were hoping to. This is our first time doing something like this, and I'm glad to see you all here. Thank you for those who made it. There will be a video up on all of our channels for those who came late or who left because of the frustrating lag. But I'm Erin Nicole Lundquist. I play Queen Bouncelia, and I wanted to help organize this event to give back to you guys because you really have made this experience tremendous for us. And we're really happy to be a part of your community. And we wanted to answer some of your questions about Garten of BanBan, about our characters, about voice acting in general. And so I'm Erin Nicole Lundquist. I'll pass it over to Paul here.
I'm Paul Hikari, and I voice Sheriff Toadster. Okay, Ty, your turn.
And I am Ty Coker, your savior from the evil lag, as I'm being knighted as in the chat, and I voice Bittergiggle, otherwise known as the Jester. And I will still leave. You can still have the lead on everything, Erin.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to, you guys can go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, which I should probably watch on this end as well. It looks like, I guess, Ty, you're going to have to, at a certain point, you're going to have to take over.
Okay.
Yeah, from the questions, but what I will say is there were...
Let's say, feel free to tag me in the chat, because I notice anytime someone types my name, it highlights your message. Like someone just said, nice to meet you all, from L Professional 34 YouTube. So anytime if you type my name, it highlights it for me, and I can check your questions and try to filter everything.
Some of the questions that were left over from the other chat, because I was making note of that, was people wanted to know what was it like voice acting our characters, and how long did it take? Which is a really great question. So I guess, Ty, we'll start with you, and we'll go around the circle.
Okay, so voice acting Bittergiggle, I got pretty minimal notes as far as what exactly they wanted them to sound like. I of course got the they wanted Heath Ledger Joker, or not Heath Ledger Joker, a Mark Hamill Joker type voice, and I was like, okay, I can work with that. So I just kind of went as crazy as I could, but with his design, with his split sides, I did like a lot of variations of every line, some that sounded like really down and depressed, and others that sounded really manic and happy. And because of that, I feel like it took me a pretty long time to record everything, because I did about 7 or 8 variations of every line, and I just let Fars pick whatever was most fitting, which I think was mostly the crazy manic ones.
Well, I just did one pass for... I just did one variant of each line. I just kind of went with whatever I thought was best for the scenario. The first pass, the Euphoric Brothers didn't like because they thought that the accent I had picked was very thin and sometimes got lost. So I did another pass. And that one they liked. well, my first pass I kind of went for the engineer from Team Fortress 2, which didn't really work out, honestly. That took about 30 minutes or so. The second pass was for, I think I used Striker from Hell of a Boss as a reference. He's the Snake Demon, who was voiced by Norman Reedus in his first appearance. And that one they liked. I leaned a lot harder into the cowboy accent that time. So it was one take for each pass, for each line that I did. Although I did have to retake some time to, well, fix some flubs, edit stuff out. Each pass took about 30 minutes for me. Cause I try to get things in with as few takes as possible. Although sometimes I do multiple takes.
Yeah. That's cool. And then for Queen Bouncelia, it's interesting because I also want to the description of the character was originally a slow-speaking, wise British accent, but not RP, which is the BBC pronunciation of British. They wanted a royal British accent, and the inspiration felt very much like Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. And when I read the script for the audition, I was like, this isn't Galadriel. This isn't some slow, wise, like ethereal creature. I'm like, this is Queen Elizabeth. Like, she's sort of the ultimate boss queen. Like, when I think royal accent, I think that very unique Queen Elizabeth II sort of accent. And I binge watched The Crown for 14 hours. And every time Olivia Colman would speak, I would speak a second afterwards how Olivia Colman would speak until I felt like I was sufficiently maintain some sort of mastery of that accent. I came back in, I recorded myself. I was like, yes, this is it. And then I just did it. I did, I think, 3 takes of everything and sent it in. But yeah, the prep was huge for me. It took me about, I would say 16 hours, 2 hours of researching the Garten of BanBan universe in general, and then formulating my connection to Queen Bouncelia, and then 14 hours of accent study, and then hopping in the booth to perform. But that's my process. Everyone has a different process. I took it very seriously, though.
Mm-hmm.
As one should. I think, okay, the chat's going so fast, so I think my strategy is going to be, I'm going to stay behind in the chat to try and get anyone who's tagged me while we're in the middle of answering other questions.
Yes, and I will say also, we're going to split off into individual streams afterwards. Come visit. I will answer one-on-one questions as well for like the next few hours. I promise. Like, this was such a... the snafu was my fault. The first 27 minutes were my fault. So please come to my stream, ask me your questions. I will be there for you. But thank you, Ty, for saving the day. You are tremendous. I know somebody asked us before if we were paid. And yes, we were. We were paid for our efforts. So absolutely. I know that, yeah, the brothers have been so respectful. They really care. They care a lot about this world. They care a lot about their characters, and they care about us 100%. They were so supportive of us setting up the stream, promoting the stream, us making a connection to the community, having us involved in the Discord. They've been so tremendous at pushing us to embody these characters and use them to like help our own individual careers move forward, which you don't see a lot. It's so refreshing. You usually are like, can I do this? Am I allowed to talk about your characters? They're like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, oh, it's so nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, I'll say, I think when Forrest first messaged me about playing Bittergiggle, the exact way that he worded it was, hey, I'm contacting you because we can finally pay people to voice the characters. So, like, I know a lot of people dog on Forrest's voice for BanBan, and who else does he play? I know Geppo's Stinger Flynn, right? I think, and Faris is BanBan, and
Yeah.
one other
Mhm.
person that just. Oh, the Mr. Kebab man.
Right.
A lot of people like dog on their voice performance, but they did it themselves because they couldn't afford to pay people to do it. So they were, saving where they could. So
Mhm.
now that the series has grown so much, they were like absolutely wanting to, you know, pay for voice actors to voice their characters, which I think is the mark of any good product. Whenever
Yeah.
that's a point that they want to make sure that everyone's paid for their work.
Yeah, it's supremely respectful to not approach people expecting things for free and to go to them offering, like, hey, we intend to make money off of this product. We would like to pay you for your services. It was very cool. It was very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
They said something similar when they approached me. And they had, well, years ago, they had brought me on board to voice a teacher in an earlier game that they did called I I think it was called Teenager Simulator or something like that.
Introvert, yeah.
It
it was
was a
introvert.
pretty introvert simulator or something like that. I forget what it was called. Yeah. And they didn't pay me then, and I just kind of forgot about my involvement with them until they contacted me about Sheriff Toadster. And apparently Aaron referred me to them about that. Didn't you?
Referred you?
Yeah, you referred me
I
to
did
them
not.
about that
I
I
don't
Sheriff
think you
didn't.
Toadster.
did.
Ty referred me
I
to
referred Aaron,
them.
and then I had no idea who was playing Sheriff Toaster, so they just went
I
to you
just had a
directly.
hunch when I saw you in the Discord chat. I was like, "There's no way Paul Hikari is not Sheriff Toadster." I was like, I just felt like you would fit that character, so I guessed that was you. But I think they came to you completely independently. But this is a cool thing we are discovering.
Yeah, it is, I guess. I didn't know anything about Garden of BanBan, really. When I joined the project, I just kind of jumped in at the opportunity.
That's so interesting. So funny story because somebody is asking how I first heard about. A couple people have asked how I heard about Garden of BanBan, and I have a 5-year-old son, and my 5-year-old son has been talking about Garden of BanBan for like a couple of months now. And I had no idea what it was, but we don't allow mascot horror in our house but his friends at school were talking about it, and he was describing all of the characters to me, and I was like, I had to sort of correct him, and I was like, we don't, that's not, we don't have it here. So when I was approached to ask if I wanted to be in it, I was really conflicted because I was like, man, what do I do? Because my whole thought was I'm not a fan of mascot horror that is intended for adults but's marketed towards small children. Like the dolls and the toys appeal to a very very young audience, but the content is really violent and really inappropriate. That was not my jam. When I started to look into Garden of BanBan, I was like, oh, this is kind of the most child accessible. Like it's almost like baby's first jump scare. So I was not too upset about it. I was like, you know what? Okay, this is different. This is I feel like it is initially geared towards a slightly younger audience. It doesn't have crazy gore. It doesn't have there's like a little bit of scary parts, but so I talked myself into into working on because I connected so much with this character. Queen Bouncelia is so tragic, and I was like, I know I could bring something really special to her, so I sort of talked myself around the no mascot horror in my house. Now my son's gonna have a Garden of BanBan birthday party. That's like legit. That's where we're at
Mhm.
in my life. How about you, Ty? How did you first hear about Garden of BanBan?
Well, I'm similar to Paul. I did voice work on Introvert, and I kind of had this weird like long running relationship with the Euphoric Brothers, where every time they would come out with a game, it would, or like whenever they announced they were working on a game, I pretty much would just sit and wait until they asked me to be in it because I voiced in almost every one of their games for a little bit. Um, where they have a lot of like shorter, I think all free to play games that I voice some part in. And they tried to do a mascot horror pretty recently, about within the past year, I think, with Egghead Gumpty, and I did voice lines for that. So like that was the most recent thing I had done. And once they announced BanBan, and I saw the first chapter, I was like, oh, there's no voice acting in it. Well, then they immediately announced the second chapter, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait and see if they need me. And sure enough, chapter 4 comes around, and Faris is like, hey, we need you for something. So I was just was fully aware of BanBan. I saw all of the controversy stuff with happening on Twitter, and I just kind of waited to see if Faris would find a role for me, because I just trusted them. If they needed me, they would contact me, and that's what happened. TC official 2. I'm still pretty far back in the chat, catching up on questions, but someone asked what is the corniest Bittergiggle joke, which I had to look up because I honestly, it was so corny, I think I repressed it in the game, which is what do you call this surgery being performed by a kangaroo? A operation.
I'm not supposed to laugh, but I think they're all very funny.
Yeah. It's such a cheesy way.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna keep that page of jokes open because they're all pretty bad. Which, I mean, he does admit they're all terrible. Am I the joke?
Yeah.
And I must say, I am very sorry to those of you who expected me to be British. I see this comment a few times in the chat now. But no, I do not walk around talking like Queen Elizabeth II. I am in fact from New Jersey. And so I'm not British. I'm grateful though. I'm very grateful. And I do watch a lot of British television. So yeah, I'm grateful that I got this role.
Now, I saw a question scroll by in the chat several times. Would Sheriff Toadster put Sonic in jail? I can't say he would. And even if he tried, there's no way he's fast enough to catch him.
I'm sorry, did you see Sheriff Toadster run at the end of chapter 4 when he was running to the elevator? He's pretty fast.
Yeah. But not fast enough to catch Sonic the Hedgehog. And again, few other characters in fiction are fast enough to catch him.
I got a very specific question from Treble Oracle, which is Bittergiggle's favorite classical piece Franz Schubert's Trout Quintet? I don't see why it wouldn't be. My favorite classical piece is Clair de Lune, but I mean, yeah, sure. If that, I haven't really ever thought of Bittergiggle being a classical music fan, but that could work.
I imagine there's a lot of classical music in the kingdom. That's how I feel about it. So why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see. This is kind of for all of us, which we can't really say, but then a few people have been asking this, if the three of us will be returning for following chapters, which I will say we're under NDA, so we can't confirm or deny anything. All I can say for myself is Bittergiggle's face is on the thumbnail for chapter 6. That is just public knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also public knowledge that Paul, your character is leading the parent down the elevator. Mine is the big question mark. Mine's the I will say that I know whether or not I'm returning. Can't tell you. I can't. I'll get in trouble. But I do know whether or not I am.
I don't actually know if you are or not, so
I know.
I can be a fan speculating, which is that the parent is going down with the the last thing they alluded to was finding the Queen's scepter, which I don't know if they are capable of using the Queen's scepter themselves, or if the Queen would need to use that directly. I don't know. I don't actually know if the scepter is actually magical, or if it only has
Yeah.
magic powers because the Queen thinks that it does.
My hope
Well-
is that. Oh no, go ahead, Paul. Yeah, you can.
Well, I watched Jacksepticeye play through the game, and he saw a bunch of notes, and one of the notes that he picked up in game said the Queen Bouncelia thinks the scepter is magic, when it kind of isn't. But
Oh, is it? Because
I mean, we don't really
in
know.
one of the notes, it says it was taken away for further study because it was believed to have magical properties. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
Or at least Queen Bouncelia thought it did.
Maybe,
But did it?
It looked like in the note it was like a scientist note. That's what. So here's the magical thing about BanBan. I feel like the answer to every question is yes. Like no matter what, I really do. I feel like a lot of it is up to fan interpretation. And if you think the scepter is magical, then yes, it is. And if you think the scepter is not magical, then yes, it's not magical. Like it's very cool how and even the devs won't confirm certain things for us. They want a lot of stuff to be ambiguous for everybody, including us, which has been really cool because it gives us creative freedom to take our characters in directions we think, as long as we don't violate the options that let you guys, the fans, let your imaginations run wild.
I didn't even know my character's name was Bittergiggle until the game came out. When I got my voice lines, it was scripted as the Jester. So whenever the game came out, I discovered my character's name the same time the fans did. Because they just kept that kind of... I didn't have to know that. My character doesn't say his own name, so... They really try to only give us the information that we need to know, I feel like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mushroom Plays asked, will there be a duck character, and will it be an artist? We have no idea about any characters that have not been shown yet. We don't get that kind of inside information.
And we didn't know about... I know a lot of the questions leading up to the stream had been about Syringian, and we don't know anything about Syringian either.
No.
So
I
don't know if anybody's asked it actively, but like we literally don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Mhm.
I'm kind of waiting with bated breath to see if Forrest will ask me to find someone to voice Syringian. Because I've helped with scouting a lot in the past. And they haven't asked me yet. So they might already have someone in mind, or they might still be waiting before they make that decision. That's just my own speculation. I would love for Syringian to have a Russian accent. I don't know why. Something about a like Russian or German like surgeon voice. Like to go with your trying at the Team Fortress 2 voice would be like the medic in Team Fortress 2 as this crazy multi-armed medical.
That's actually something I personally used as a reference for the German accent that I used in some of the YouTube videos I voice in.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, a lot of German viewers apparently laughed. Well, they thought it was pretty funny. So yeah.
That'd be cool.
Over the years, I kind of blended that accent with other references, like Johann from Hellboy and, well, Reinhardt from Overwatch.
Very nice, very nice.
I don't know.
Good.
Just kind of experimenting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Callie tagged me and said, "Your hair is pretty." Thank you. I was having an awful hair day before we started stream. And I finally just pinned it down with my headset and said, all right, this is what I am today.
Whatever works, right?
It's fabulous.
Okay, let me look for more questions.
Yeah. There were There are some people asking if they can voice act in Garten of BanBan. So if you would like to go down this route of becoming a professional voice actor, I highly encourage you to follow your dreams if that is your dream, is to do this, is to tell stories using the medium of voice. But do realize that voice acting is acting first and foremost. So getting yourself out there and acting in things like plays and theater and other productions will get you involved in the voice acting community, which gets you networked and gets you experience and gets you more jobs. It's not, all of us have had previous voice acting careers prior to Garten of BanBan. And I believe all of us have acted for, I want to say, has it been close to a decade? How long have you been acting, Ty?
13 years.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah,
May of 2010 was my first ever voice acting role. Before then, I was a theater kid, so I was always in the drama club and stuff in school, and I had done. You can find some ancient stuff that I was in on YouTube, making my own content. And it was in May of 2010 was the first time someone contacted me and said, "Hey, I want you to voice in my thing." And I was like, weird. I've never done a voice for someone else before. I always just voice acted in my own stuff because I wanted to write and I wanted to, edit and make things. But I didn't consider myself an actor. So that's what I consider the official start of my voice acting journey, was the first time I voice acted in someone else's project. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff under my belt.
And how about you, Paul? How long have you been voice acting, or acting in general and voice acting specifically?
Well, I'd say I officially started voice acting in 2009 for more or less the same way Ty did. Although my first voice acting roles were in Super Smash Bros. Brawl Machinimas. None of which lasted very long because the creators, I don't know, burnt out.
Mine were in Halo 3 Machinimas, so you're not alone.
Yep.
I think I started.
But I never really considered it a serious career path until, well, in my last year of college or so, but, well, actually a couple of years after I graduated college. And now, well, I've been pursuing it professionally for 8 years, so 14 years total, I'd say, including this one. It all started pretty much as out of channeling a lifelong habit of mine of just talking to myself to good use. Because I'd been trying to break it for I don't know how long, with no success before then. At some point I realized, hey, this could actually be kind of fun to do it this way instead. One thing led to another, and here I am now.
I had someone ask.
So what about you, Erin?
Oh yeah,
I'll go real quick so that Ty. Oh sure, I was like, I'll go quick.
Sorry, I don't know why. I keep thinking we're in like this cycle of from me to Erin to Paul. So when Paul finishes any question, I'm like, all right, moving on.
I was like, it's fine, guys. It's all right.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess.
I've been a professional voice actor for 8 years. I started in commercial work for the first several years, and then once I started doing character acting, I was like, this is it forever. But I was also a theater kid. I had been on stage since I was 3, starting with like dance and then going into theater programs and then doing plays and then Shakespeare in high school. And then when I graduated, I got into Greek theater. So I was like really into different theater programs. And somebody discovered me. I was working as a costume designer for on set, and someone was like, you have a great voice. Did you ever want to try voice acting? And I was like, yes, tell me everything right now. I had no idea it was a legit career. So it's been amazing. It's been so important to me, and I really buckled down in the last couple of years and decided that this was going to be my full-time job. And I've got a lot of coaching and put a lot of money into training and equipment, and it's been really paying off. There's a lot of super cool stuff. Please stay tuned. I've got so much cool stuff coming out, you guys. I'm so excited for you guys to experience.
So, okay, someone, I have a few questions here that I pulled up. Someone did ask, what's with the Bittergiggle in your background? Which I don't know if you mean my plushie here in front of me, but I did set up my prints from artists behind me, which just kind of as a little break, you can order signed prints from us from the QR code on the side of the screen. And I have a few here that were fan arts that I got in contact with the artists and got their permission to print these and sign them. So I have one. This is a more cuter one. And these two, I think, have been the favorites so far, which were both by the same artist. And I could not decide between the two, so I asked for permission to use both of them. These are the prints. These are the size of them. They're on nice cardstock, and we're gonna be doing that on our separate streams, on our separate channels after we're done with the Q&A. If you want to order one, we can fit those in, I think, until Erin closes the shop.
I know. I'm going to keep them open for most of today, most likely. And then if we have to set up a subsequent stream, I think that we all talked about being able to do another autograph stream tomorrow if we got more sales later today. So you guys can definitely buy. I want to plug Esod, if that's okay, real quick. My artist, because you talked about your fabulous artist. So if you've seen me, if you guys have joined from my @TheRealQueen Bouncelia YouTube channel, thank you so much for supporting me. If you want more actual Queen Bouncelia content, I've been making little motivational speeches to my citizens of the kingdom on the @TheRealQueen Bouncelia YouTube channel, and a lot of the art that you've seen, which looks like these, which are available in prints, is by the fabulous artist Esod Cater, who gave me permission to use her art for these prints, and also in my streams. And Esod is just the sweetest sweetheart, and really captured, she drew these pictures prior to BanBan coming out, and I felt like she really captured the spirit of all of the characters before she even knew what they were going to be. I was like, she gets it. Like, she gets who these characters are, and that's really special. It was really cool. So I definitely wanted to support her. And so thank you for letting me plug Esod real quick.
Sure. So I have one that's kind of directed, I think, at all of us. It says, as from Bubbles the Sharky said, how has your experience been in the Garten fandom? And I know I feel like Erin, I feel like you've been the most involved. I think you should go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once I received the role, but prior to the game releasing, I started implanting myself in the fandom. I kind of wanted to observe how the fans interacted with each other. Was this overall, what does BanBan mean to you guys? And I was blown away by how uplifting everybody is, how interested everybody is in their headcanon, but also their OCs, and drawing the creativity that BanBan has inspired in all of these other people has blown me away. Like all of you guys that are here, that are tuned in. And I decided prior to the release of the game that I wanted to be actively involved. I wanted to give back to you guys. Sorry that my original stream didn't work, but we're going there now. But doing things like free Q&As, and creating the @TheRealQueen Bouncelia YouTube channel is for you. And like it brings me joy. So I love it. And I'm also I hang out in the Garten of BanBan Discord, and I comment on people's fan art. Because I love your fan art so much.
Yes, I that's my biggest thing has been, I've just been so blown away by all of the Bittergiggle fan art and people's redesigns of the character, and like human personifications of the character. I love every single one. And I also hang out in the Garten of BanBan Discord, so if any of you are on there, if any of you are artists, always feel free to tag at Bittergiggle when you post in the server, because that's my server nickname on there. I check that pretty much daily to see what new art is out there. And I try to retweet a lot on Twitter as well, and some people just tag me on there, which I think is just incredible. How about you, Paul?
Yeah. I haven't really gotten myself involved in the Garten of BanBan fandom at all, because I've been, well, kind of busy with other voice acting work, most principally manga dubs on YouTube. But I have seen quite a few noteworthy fan works. Most recently, I saw a video on a YouTube channel called Press Start to Laugh, which is basically if you and the monsters in Garten of BanBan 4 could talk. And I enjoyed the performance that the channel owner made a lot. I even commented on the video, and he said that Sheriff Toadster was a pretty fun character to play off of. So there was that. I've seen a few pieces of Garten of BanBan fan art, but I didn't think to approach the artists for permission to use their art pieces as prints or whatever. But there are still prints that available for Toadster, as well as Bouncelia and, of course, Bittergiggle in the shop.
Yeah. Somebody brought up, I forgot about those, but thank you for reminding me. They're asking about the collaboration with Think Noodles. And yeah, because we were talking about getting involved with the fandom, and I was like, yes. So I did approach Think Noodles before I knew that Think Noodles was a voice actor in the game. And I did ask if Think Noodles and Kalis wanted to participate on stream, and both of them were busy for the next few weeks. And I was like, that's totally fair. This was so fast. We threw this together pretty quickly for you guys. I am hoping to get some kind of collaboration later with as many people as possible. We also invited the brothers and Banbalina's voice actress. So I'm still hoping to get some kind of like voice extravaganza one day for all of you. We'll see what I can do. But Think Noodles is incredibly authentic and kind, and really, really cares about, again, uplifting people and providing a family experience. And I was like, yep, I love it. Let's do it. And so it was a joy to help him make content. And I had fun. I had so much fun playing BanBan 1. So it was great.
Okay, so Paul, you and I keep getting a lot of people asking us to do our voice acting. So I'm gonna compile a few of these. If you have a favorite voice line, a lot of people would like to hear, or I guess witness you reenacting it. I know.
Well, I guess my favorite part.
I know what my favorite line is of yours, but I'll save it till you're done.
Oh. I'm guessing yours would be that last joke Bittergiggle tells about Celia.
There is that, but my favorite voice line of Sheriff Toadster's.
I have a favorite too.
Oh, rap.
Paul.
Oh. Because I saw a lot of requests for this one. Prepare to get toasted! And yes, he does in fact throw a star at Bittergiggle.
I want to ask Faris
when he says that line.
I want to ask Faris, do the stars come out of him? Because he throws a star, and the sheriff star on him is still there. So my brain is immediately like, does he produce sheriff's stars to throw at people? Because he says
Probably.
toad stars plural, so there's more than one. And he's thrown them before because he said they never disappoint. So that's part of the lore that I would like to know as a fan.
Is it like Spider-Man's webbing? Where like they come
the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, it's the sheriff star comes out. I mean it's
possible.
I wonder
guess.
I wonder if there's like a layer to these monsters in BanBan where like just like basically their own imagination gives them powers. Like there we have Queen Bouncelia's scepter that she just thinks is magic, so by default it becomes magic. And then they have this frog that they showed a bunch of Western movies, and then now he can throw sheriff stars at people. So it's just like, did someone make those stars, or can he just produce them? I don't know.
It's like the power of thought becomes reality in the BanBan universe.
I have a lot of people asking me to do the laugh, which I really actually have been wanting to talk about, because Bittergiggle's laugh is actually not me putting on a voice. That is just how I laugh in real life, and I never get to laugh like that. Anytime I'm playing a character and they have to laugh, I'm always doing a fake laugh because I'm doing a normal laugh. So, you know, if I'm playing like your average anime teenager, I'm like, but that is not how I laugh. In real life, if you make me bust a gut, I will go, that is my real normal laugh. So, I sent Forrest a bunch of different takes of a bunch of different laughters, and they chose the one that was my actual laugh, and I was like, thank you. It's so easy for me to just go. Yeah, and a lot of people have been asking me to laugh, so there you go. For my voice line, and a lot of people have been asking me to say this too, I will say the Your Majesty, tell me, what did the train conductor say to the kangaroo? Hop on! Which, that laugh after the line was just me. I just added that on there because I thought it would be so funny if he's already laughing at his own joke. Even though it was so awful.
Yep.
So I just threw that in on a couple of takes. Some of them I did it exactly how they scripted, and some of them I was like, I'm just gonna throw in a little giggle, and then they ended up using it, which I thought was cool.
Sure. That was really cool, by the way, to hear you do that. I think because I talk to you so much, and I know what your normal, you're like, your Bittergiggle is a little bit different. Like, I thought it was basically your natural voice, but no, there is a texture to it.
Yeah,
that's different. Sure. And I was like, oh, cool.
It's just the high pitched laugh is not me putting on a voice. That is just how I laugh.
Yeah, I got some critiques about my laugh when a giant laser beam pops out of my pouch.
I thought your laugh was great.
So, a couple things I kind of wanted to explain. They didn't tell me that a giant laser beam was going to come out of my pouch. The direction I got was Bittergiggle tells, because I got that part of the script, so I knew that the jester tells the joke. I say, that was terrible. And then it says Queen Bouncelia laughs and kills everyone. That was the direction. And so I was like, oh, I must turn into this monster. And like, how sad is that? That like, I've been holding in that monster the whole time. I sort of treated it like Elsa from Frozen. Like, conceal, don't feel. Like, if I were to let it go, I'll like murder everybody with my ice powers. So, I was like, oh, how sad I turn into this monster even though I don't. And I had this whole headcanon, like, I'm the queen of this kingdom, but where are my subjects? And I talk about how I'm a mother, but where are my children? So I had this whole thought that when I laugh, I must go on a murderous rampage. And I murdered my own family and my subjects, and I'm just alone. And the sheriff is like as much keeping me in as he is keeping up. Like, that was my whole motivation behind my character. So I did this whole almost transformative from like evil to more evil, but that's also quasi my natural laugh. and then when I saw it on screen and it was this big pink lace, I went, oh, okay. That's not at all what I thought was gonna happen.
This is kind of random, since you were talking about, getting context for your character and the way it was scripted and stuff, I remember you messaged me after you had recorded your lines. I think you might have already sent them, and you were like, Ty, I messed up. I did a British accent for the Queen, but the line says elevator.
Yes!
Because people in the United Kingdoms, they say lift, and not elevator.
Yes!
And I was like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. No one's gonna notice. And what I didn't tell you this because I didn't want you to freak out. But I have my friend Dan, Dan, if you happen to will be watching this or if you watch it later, love you. He is my friend who lives in the UK, and I was like, hey Dan, I have a question. If you heard someone in something doing a British accent and they said elevator, how would you feel? And he was just like, kill them.
Yes!
He was just like,
up.
no, that's awful. I'm like, okay.
Yes!
And I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell Erin that answer. I was
No, I
hoping he
woke
might
up
be like,
and
oh
then-
no, people say elevator all the time.
No, they don't. They don't. I woke up out of a dead sleep. It was 2 a.m. when I messaged you. I was asleep, and I woke up. I sat up, and I said elevator. I didn't say lift. Oh my God. They're gonna know. They're gonna know I'm not British. And like, I
Yeah.
texted you because
Well, obviously they don't really care. Now, do they?
no, they wanted. I think I asked. Oh, I just got stuck. I think I asked whether or not they wanted me to fix the line. They were like, no, we've always referred to it as an elevator. We don't want to confuse the audience.
That's
And I
true.
went, oh, okay. So it was written intentionally as elevator. When I asked if they wanted me to fix it, they said, no, we want the audience to not be confused. And I was like, sure. And only a couple people pointed it out in comments. Most people just went with it. And I thank you for that, because I did literally wake up in a cold sweat in sleep being like, I said elevator.
I know another thing with Queen Bouncelia that I've seen is a lot of people were expecting her to have an Australian accent because she's a kangaroo. That's the main critique that I saw. Was they're like, why is the kangaroo talking with a British accent? I'm just like, well, what Australian queen have you ever seen before?
And the Queen of Queen Elizabeth II was the Queen of Australia.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and like I literally did think of that. I was like, which I know I know there's been a big reclamation. This is not meant to offend any sort of any Australians who are watching this right now.
No.
But when I did gain this inspiration, I know they wanted a British accent. I was like, well, that makes sense to me because I'm going with Queen Elizabeth II's accent, and she was literally the Queen of Australia for her whole reign. And I went, okay, like this makes sense.
I didn't even think about that. But that
Yeah,
is true.
I did parse that in my head. I did.
All right, let's see. I have Wiggly Cheese said, "Can I get a shout out, Bittergiggle? Shout out to you, Wiggly Cheese." Let's see. A lot of people asking if they can voice in BanBan 6. We don't get a say in that, unfortunately.
No, that's why we wanted to give you a heads up on our careers and our paths.
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
Like
So, you
that.
know-
like it's a journey.
Yeah, so and that's kind of a thing. If Forrest comes to me and asks me like, "Hey, do you know anyone that could do this voice well?" I will usually send him like for Queen Bouncelia, I sent like 5 different people's demo reels just to people that I thought would be good, and he chose Erin. And that's going to be
thank
based off of like experience and how good their recording setup is and their ability to act and do the type of voice that they're needing.
And I did audition. Like, I didn't just get it. So I do appreciate that you referred me. And I still had to audition, which is my preference. I like to show them what I will do special with their character. So even with the recommendation, it was still a competitive process, if you will.
I'm getting a lot of questions. I don't know if it's because it's on my channel, but Leather Thorns and Roses asked, Ty, would you say that Bittergiggle is canonically non-binary? And I can't say for sure what the canon is. I will say I treat them that way as their performer. That's not law. I can't actually confirm anything as far as like the lore goes. for the actual character, but it's like my headcanon, I guess. Ever since I saw the character's design, I was like, this speaks to me.
I also treated them canonically as non-binary, they,
Mhm.
them, and I also thought it was very special that you were a non-binary actor, and that that just sort of fit with me. But again, the devs have very especially told us, like, don't
Yeah, they're like, so it's like
commit
you
to
don't-
anything.
Yeah,
but
we,
acting choice-wise, I
Yeah.
did.
yeah, we have our own headcanons for the characters when we're voicing them. It doesn't make it, true to the lore or anything. But that's just my perspective on it when I'm voicing the character, and that it makes me feel more connected that way.
I'm seeing a lot of questions of people asking me what's in my pouch. I have a question for me and then a question for everybody.
Okay.
I can confirm that the naughty ones are in my pouch. I felt like that was pretty clear, and that there's a problem that's going to happen in Garten of BanBan 6 involving the naughty ones. I think that the trailer made that pretty evident, and I can't say more about that at the moment. And then a question for all of us is there anything that we can speak about for Garten of BanBan 6? And I most certainly cannot, but I don't know if either of you can.
I don't think so.
And then is there a King Bouncelia? No, not that I know of. There is.
I have been
Yeah.
wondering that. I don't know anything still about like any future characters that are going to appear, but I have wondered, like, is there a king to the queen? Like,
I was sort of hoping not, again, because I based the character off of Queen Elizabeth. My hope is that because she was the queen, but that Philip was never going to be king, that it was her son Charles was the, I don't know why I went with British. I mean, I just did. I was just like, but I was sort of like she's strong, independent kangaroo, don't need no king.
That reminds me, to go back on my question. I saw a lot of people say they were screaming in the chat because I said that my headcanon is Bittergiggle as non-binary, which, again, I can't decide anything or confirm anything. That's just my own headcanon. But one of my things that also led me to kind of think that, other than their design, was the fact that there's like a BanBan, and then there's BanBalina, and then there's Nab, and then there's Nabnalina, and I was like, well, there's no Bittergigglina. So maybe they were like, two separate entities at some point, which it was, again, just me speculating, but let's see.
People are asking if we can drop the Discord link in the chat. I think it would be smarter. We'll drop it in the comments after the video's over, because that way more people can find it.
It may also be. I think there's a link to it on the Euphoric Bros website. I believe that might be easy.
Is there? Well, I'm in the Euphoric Bros Discord server, but I haven't really checked there. Could be there? Well, I don't know. Anyway, I see a comment asked by TVK Galexis over and over again. Can Sheriff Toadster win a fight against Jumbo Josh? Or maybe can Chester win a battle against the Joker? Well, is Jumbo Josh the huge green thing that got caught in the trap about halfway through Garten of BanBan 4?
Yes.
Then I don't know if Sheriff Toadster could actually win a fight, direct fight against Jumbo Josh, but that he managed to catch him in that trap proves he could at least outsmart him. That was kind of what I had in mind, well, when I was recording the prisoner logs.
I feel like
I think
Sheriff
we're only going to
Toaster.
be able to take a couple more questions before we have to split off based off of
I feel like Sheriff Toaster is like the Batman of the BanBan characters. He has like these like contingencies on how to shut down every other character.
Pretty much.
Oh my god.
Except that he
You're
never
not
really
wrong.
figured out how to shut down Bittergiggle.
That's true. I see. As far as Bittergiggle fighting the Joker, I don't know if Bittergiggle fights or if he just. Well, I mean, he at least chases you and grabs you and laughs in your face, but I don't know if he actually has any kind of fighting capability. I mean, he gets smacked with a Toadster and runs away.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. A lot of people in chat are saying that you're sorry that you had to deal with lag on the other stream, Erin.
Oh, thank you. I'm embarrassed, but you know what? I feel like we still were able to provide a positive experience for you guys, and we will be able to link this video in the future so that you guys can see the Q&A forevermore on Internet Land. So.
Yep.
Let's see. Someone asked, besides yourself, who is your favorite character? How about you, Erin?
Oh, for all of us?
Yes.
Oh, oh gosh, you know who I love? Captain Fiddles. I just think Captain Fiddles is so freaking cute. I don't know much about Captain Fiddles, but like, look at his design. It looks like I love Captain Fiddles.
I don't know why.
That's great. How about you, Paul? Who's your favorite besides Sheriff Toadster?
Well, I don't know much about Garten of BanBan in general, but from what I do know, I might have to say one of my favorite. Apart from Sheriff Toadster, I'd say it's a toss-up between Bittergiggle and Little Beak.
Oh, Little
Okay.
Beak.
Little Beak's a good one.
So cute.
Yeah.
I also love Captain Fiddles. I don't know why. I really, really want Captain Fiddles to speak at some point and have like a like a deep, like not deep, but like a raspy, like Danny DeVito type voice. For some reason, almost like a Phil from Hercules, you know?
Yes. Yeah, because small characters
Oh yeah,
with really
like this.
Yeah.
voices. It's really funny. It's funny.
Like because Captain Fiddles has only shown up in the flashbacks or like the Stinger Flynn visions. He hasn't actually appeared, other than there's all the like dead Captain Fiddleses in the second chapter.
I know.
I think.
In the second chapter.
But our OG Captain Fiddles, I don't think has shown up at all yet. So if he were to show up and be like, "Hey kid, we gotta get out of here," I would
funny.
I would love that. Other than that, I'm so intrigued by Zolphius, the big scary face that appears just randomly. I want to know what his deal is.
That's its
so
name?
bad. Yes.
Right.
I
didn't even realize that was a character.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I like that Zolphia speaks Spanish.
I don't.
Latina.
Yes, and I don't know where the name came from, but that is their canonical name is Zolphius. It might have been on like a collectible page somewhere. Might have referred to them by name. A lot of people have been asking me to say, like a bug to a zapper. So there you go. Which
All
I will.
right.
Anyone,
We have to split it up.
yeah, I was gonna say anyone that has other like one-on-one like requests like that, we're about to split off onto our separate streams, a little bit behind schedule. So definitely feel free to pop in on anyone's stream, ask for voice lines to say quotes for you. I see a lot of people requesting that. But I think it might be time for us to split off. Give us about maybe like a 5-minute break, and then start at what would this be? 11:30 Pacific time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop over. I've got an angry chat on my side, so I'm gonna try to appease my angry chat on my autograph
Yes.
stream.
Sorry, I forgot. I'm on my own channel right now, so they can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I was like, and I just was told them I was like, but thank you guys all for joining, and for those of you who stuck with through the technical difficulties, thank you so much. And for those who joined, you can go to the ErinNicoleLundquist.com/shop, which we have the. I think is it on this side? We have the
Yes,
QR code
a little bit more.
if you
yeah.
still want to get some prints. Additionally, the links for all of our individual streams are there. So even if you're not going to buy anything but you want to hop between our streams, you can do that from that link. It'll show you where everybody is. So,
All right.
thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys
Yes.
on the other stream.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. You guys
Yes,
are
thank you
fabulous.
all. I'm gonna end this one and then start a separate stream in just a second. But bye for now.
All right.
All right, bye.